Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we will be creating this super cute decorative metal scoop planter box that I came across while shopping online, and it was $49.99. Now I took the challenge and I wanted to see if I could recreate this from Dollar Tree and $1 items, and I will be showing you how I use some easy tips and tricks along the way to accomplish this look. Now for your convenience, I've provided the complete list of supplies and tools that I used to make this project in the description box below. Now I am so very excited to share this tutorial with you, but before we start, I wanted to say hey, and welcome back to my fantastic subscribers and visitors to my channel. Now if you are a new visitor to my channel today and you love to create fun and easy DIY projects on a budget, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will be the first to know when a new DIY tutorial is ready to share with you. So now, let's jump right into the project. Now here is my inspiration photo for this project today. Now this decorative wall planter is so rustic looking, and I love all the metal accents and details in this piece. Now I thought that these elements would provide the perfect challenge for me to recreate, so I headed to the Dollar Tree to pick up some supplies, as well as additional items that were less than $1 to make this all come together. Now I'm going to be making 2 planters, so I'm going to need 3 packs of these 5-gallon stir sticks that were 98 cents from Lowe's. I'm going to need 2 boxes from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to need a couple of bundles of boxwood that was 97 cents from Walmart, and a piece of white poster board from the Dollar Tree. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to gather up all of our paint sticks, and I just want to stack them all together because we will be cutting them down to size. Now I found that the best way to cut them all evenly is to tape them all together with some painter's tape in the middle so they don't slide apart. Then I'm going to take my ruler, lay it right on top, and my sticks will end up being about 17 inches. And you want to make sure you don't get that handle part in your cut, so just go ahead and mark each end at 17 inches. Now to cut these, you can actually use one of these miter boxes from any home improvement store, and these are around $10 if you don't have a power tool, but I prefer to use my Hitachi saw here. I have a miter saw. This is one of the lower end brands, and it was only $99, so I use this to cut angled cuts and straight cuts, but I'll link it in the description box below if interested. So now that my sticks are all cut and nice and even, we're ready to move forward with our project. So go ahead and unbundle all of your sticks. Now I'm going to separate apart 6 sticks, and we'll be using 6 for each one of our planters. So you'll notice one side has printed measurements and the other side is blank. So we're just going to make sure when we lay out our sticks to bond them together, just go ahead and make sure that the numbered side is facing you. Now I did want to make sure that these were absolutely even, so I'm going to use the help of my grid mat and lay my sticks out. Now to join these all together, I'm just going to use some scrap 1-gallon paint stir sticks I had left over, but you could also use craft sticks to bond these together, and I'm going to use my Surebonder hot glue gun along with these wood glue sticks by Surebonder. Now just apply some of that wood hot glue on the back of one of the sticks and press it on the back on one side, just making sure that all those sticks come in contact. Then just repeat this for the other side. Squeeze all those sticks together so you have a nice tight bond. And now you have one solid panel. And now you just want to repeat this for your other 6 sticks. And here are your 2 panels all completed. So now what we're going to do is we are going to be adding this elephant gray color to the board as a washed in color, and I just dip it in some water, squeeze out a rag, and this is how I'm going to apply it. Now by the way, these heavy duty beer mugs are awesome to use. I use them for my paint as well. So I'm just going to take that paint, apply it to the wet rag, and just start spreading it around the board. It doesn't have to be even because we will be painting over this, but just spread it all around the board nice and even, and until the board is nice and covered. Now you want to go ahead and repeat this for your second board as well. And here are our 2 boards, and let them completely dry. So now that these are all dry, we can move on to the next step. Now, I wanted my board to be distressed, so what I'm going to do is take some of these candles, and I have these tapered candles from Dollar Tree, but you can use any candle you want. I just want to take that candle and I want to just start rubbing that candle along the edges of the board. Now, my inspiration piece had some little weathering around the edges and distressing, and I want to emulate that look. So I'm just going to go around the entire edge of the board. And once I finish going around the entire edge of the board, I'm going to go along some of the seams and the slats too, because I noticed their distressing actually climbed up in between the pieces. So I'm going to kind of emulate that look as well by running my candle up those seams. Now you want to repeat this for your second board, and once both boards have the candle wax, just dust off all of that loose candle wax that is on your boards. Now to cover the entire board, I'm just going to use some white acrylic paint. Now with a wide brush, I'm just going to apply one coat of this paint, just making sure that all the strokes go in the same direction, and you just want to put a nice even coat on there. And then just repeat this for your second board, making sure you get all around the edges. So now that our boards are dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this picker tool that I got from Dollar Tree, or you can just use a safety pin, and I'm just going to go down the seams of all the boards so they'll show through, and just dust off any wax that comes out of those seams. Now to bring out the distressing, I'm going to use this flat putty knife. Now I did pick this up from the Dollar Tree, but you can use any flat-sided tool and just gently scrape off that paint. Now that paint should come off fairly easily because there is the candle wax underneath it, but you can see how it makes this very beautiful distressed look, and I absolutely love how it's turning out. You want to repeat this all around the edges first. And here's what the distressing looks like all around the edges of the board. So now I'm going to take my tool and I'm going to go up the middle of those seams as well, and you just want to continue scraping until you get the amount of paint removed that you like, and this is what mine ended up looking like. And then repeat this for your second board until they're both completed. So now that both of our boards are complete, I'm going to add some jute string to hang on the back. Now I'm not going to cover it with the paper like I typically do because the back actually looks pretty good. So I'm just going to take some jute string with knots tied on the end, and then I'm going to apply a few staples on each end of that string near the knot to put a hanger on the back. Now you just trim down all of your strings and these have a nice hanger. Then just repeat this for your second board. So now we can set these to the side and we're going to start working on our boxes. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you've seen me cut these boxes into a diagonal shape, and I'm kind of going to resemble that same shape since these boxes will be metal scoops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the box, and the first thing I'm going to do is take my ruler, and on one side I want to measure down about 2.5 inches, and I want to place a mark at the 2.5 inch mark. And then I'm going to flip the box to the other side and I want to make another 2.5 inch mark. Now you can connect those 2.5 inch marks across the front of the box. And then you're going to connect from one corner down to that 2.5 inch mark on each one of the sides. So now what we're going to do is cut out our line. So I like to secure my ruler in place with a clamp, and I'll put a link in the description box from where I received these clamps. I'm just going to run down that seam 2 or 3 times with my X-Acto knife, and once I get that line, I'm just going to run it all the way down until I can cut through the box until I have this piece flipped out like shown here. So now we're going to repeat this on the other side until we loosen that side as well. So now that we have our 2 flaps out, we're just going to place our ruler across the front. Go ahead and score it a few times, and once you get a nice deep score in there, just run your X-Acto knife along that and it should pop right out. And then you want to repeat this for your second box. So now that both boxes are done, if you have any jagged edges, just go over them with some sandpaper to smooth everything out. So I needed handles for my boxes, so I found these pictures at the Dollar Tree. I looked everywhere for handles and I couldn't find anything, but these worked perfect. So to cut these handles out, you could use an X-Acto knife, you can use a utility knife, or you could just simply use scissors. I actually found scissors to be the easiest after I did this, but the first thing I'm going to do is actually cut out the handle, and make sure you leave a very wide margin around your handle just in case the plastic will crack on you. Now it is pretty flexible, but you always want to be careful. And so now we're going to actually cut it down to our precise size, and I'm just using a Sharpie to kind of mark my line. I'm putting like a square of the plastic material behind the handle to adhere this to the box. So I started off here using my utility knife, and I'm just going to press it flat against my cutting mat and just run that utility knife along the line. I did actually find this to be more difficult than use scissors, but I did end up using scissors in the end. So now just take your scissors and cut off that end piece until you have that square piece behind it. So now I'm just going around that top edge and I'm rounding it out around the top of my handle just to match that shape. Now here I'm just going to go ahead and test fit it to the front of the box. I didn't quite like the square, so I'm just going to cut those bottom corners of the square into an angle just so I have enough surface area to glue onto the box, and it looks so much better now that it's hidden behind the handle. And then you just want to repeat this for the other picture. So now you have your two handles for your box. So now we are going to center these on the front of the box, and we're going to adhere them with hot glue. Now, one good thing about the hot glue, you're going to apply a generous amount, but it also slightly warms up that plastic, so it will be pressed flat against the box, and so it'll take the shape of the flat surface against the box. Once it kind of dries and is in place, I like to take a couple of those clamps again and just press it and secure it into place to make sure that there's a good bond between the handle and the box. And then just repeat this for your other box. So now my handles are nice and dry. So what I want to go ahead and do now is I have some of these nail heads that I cut the ends off of, and I'm just going to place one right in between that handle. Now this is what is shown in my inspiration piece, so I'm just trying to emulate that look, and all you have to do is to place a dot of glue in between that handle and put one of those nail heads in place. And you can also use the Dollar Tree Thumb Tacks for this as well. And now that these are adhered, we are just going to go ahead and take some primer, and I have this Zinsser 123 primer that I love. It dries quick and has great coverage. Just spray one coat on and let it completely dry. So now that it's dry, we're going to go in with this Krylon Brilliant aluminum spray paint, apply one nice coat to all surfaces except for the back of the box. Now while that dries, we are going to work on our poster board. Now I take this poster board and I turn it into this metallic galvanized material. I absolutely love doing this process. I'm sure you have seen it before, and it's very easy by just spraying the poster board and then dabbing with a paper towel. Now I have included a quick demo on how to do this, and I'll link it in the upper right hand corner of this video and also put it in the description box below. Now we'll only need a small piece of this, but I always make a full piece for other projects as well. So now that we've cut off a piece that we'll use for this project, we are ending up cutting this in about 3/4 inch strips. Now these are the strips that will go at the top and bottom of our planter boxes to look like our inspiration piece. So now our 4 strips are all cut out and ready to go. So I'm just going to lay these out on my table to make sure they are lined up for the placement of our nail heads. Now I'm going to use those nail heads again. Again, you can use some Dollar Tree Thumb Tacks without those ends as well. So I'm just going to space these evenly along the strips. And I'm going to be using 4 of the nail heads per strip. So to apply these, I'm just putting a little dot of that hot glue, and I'm going to place one of those nail heads right on top. And once you have that first one, you can use that as a guide to do the remaining pieces. And here are all of our nail heads in place. Now, I noticed the color was a little different than the silver. They were more brassy. So what I'm going to do is do a little cheat here. I'm just going to take some more of that spray paint and I'm going to spray it into a napkin and then dab that color right on top of those nail head pieces. And now the colors all match. So now we can lay out our board and then we see our boxes are nice and dry. Oh my goodness, I think they look so much like metal. So we're going to be applying these in the middle of each one of the boards. We want to make sure that we mark the top and the bottom evenly, and we also want to make sure we mark them evenly from side to side. And then once all of your marks are there, you want to take a generous amount of hot glue and place it on the back of the box. Don't be shy, use plenty for this application. And then you want to press it right into place on the boards using those marks as guides. And now your box is nice and secure. So now we're going to take our strips that we made and we're going to be placing these on the board approximately 1.5 inches from the top and bottom edges. Now once you make those marks for their placement, just take some hot glue and apply it to the back and then gently press that into place. And everything looks great. So now you just repeat this for your second piece and oh my goodness, they look awesome. So I am so extra, you guys should know that already. So I'm just going to add a few staples to the inside of the box to make sure that box is nice and secure to the board. And now all you have to do is add your bundled up boxwood to your piece and hang them up. And here is my recreation of these planners. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am so excited about how these turned out. Now this rustic wood finish combined with that metal look complement each other so well in this project. And adding these 97-cent boxwoods are also a great bargain. And check out these metal looking scoops. I love how they turned out too. Now you just add a bit of this trim to the top and bottom and this perfectly replicates our inspiration piece. And who knew that using the candle wax would be a great way to achieve a more natural looking weathered wood. You all have to be sure to let me know what you think about this project in the comments below. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So Crafty on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Now, if you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, you want to make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen and then click on the bell. It's absolutely free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.